Oh, hey. Hello. Welcome. Today I'm going to be doing some of your guys' requests over on Instagram. I did this like a couple of weeks ago. I just kind of opened it up to you guys because I always have a really good time when you guys just suggest all of these random creative ideas that you have. And some of them maybe aren't creative, but they just kind of give me a little bit of motivation and direction because obviously I can go into my sketchbook and draw absolutely anything. So yeah, I like to have a little bit of direction. You guys can kind of provide that for me. So, yeah, first up we have a wizard toad. So, yeah, I just kind of found a photo off of Google and then I added obviously some of my own touches to make it a wizard. So, I gave him a cute little hat. So, you're seeing me draw with Prismacolor colored pencils. So, obviously, they're a little bit more permanent than pencils are, so I like to start with a lighter color, and I was using, what color am I using? I started with powder blue, and then later on you'll see me go over the lines and darken it with, I think it's ultramarine, yeah, ultramarine blue. So yeah, I tried to up the contrast a little bit so you can see the powder blue a little bit better because it is significantly lighter than the other one, so but yeah, right with the start with that light color, I like to kind of base in the very basic shapes. Just kind of get a feel for the proportions, where everything's gonna sit, how the shapes are gonna look, like all that kind of underlying stuff. And I like that because it loosens me up too, like so that I can go into it just accepting it's gonna be a little bit messy and not feel like I need to make the perfect line every single time. So um, yeah, so and this was also like my first drawing of the day too, so I was a little bit rusty and I can see that in my line work where it's a little bit scratchy and whatever, but yeah, still fun. So yeah, here you see me go in with that darker blue, just kind of highlighting all of the lines that I liked. And then with that darker color, all of the lighter blue just kind of gets lost into the background. And I actually like the way that it looks too, because it just feels like a little bit more full with that really light sketch underneath too. And I do a little bit of shading too when I do that, so it adds, yeah, a little bit of dimensionality. Frog eyes, frog's eyes are different. They've got like that horizontal pupil like a goat does. So when I draw frogs and toads, I'm always kind of like, do I keep their pupils like this or do I make them cute? So I don't show it on camera, but I do eventually make them like a rounder pupil. But he looks more angry and scary like this. So I would like to think of him as like a grumpy old wizard toad. He's probably like cursing us. I don't know. I don't think he likes to be seen. Or maybe he's a wizard that got cursed and turned into a frog. So maybe he's a little bit resentful. And I gave him a little beard because I thought that would be kind of funny and cute. I know they don't grow hair, guys. I know. Yeah. So I'm just kind of going around the forms. And again, not trying to be super clean or anything like that. Um, I yeah, I didn't want to like pressure myself too much because I'm not really used to drawing on film. So, and that's also why I'm doing like a voiceover and I'm not just, you know, talking while I draw because that'd be a lot for me. Like I can do it and I've obviously recorded classes and stuff like that and I feel a little bit more confident, but for something like this where it's just supposed to be fun and laid back, I like just be able to do it without having to think about what I'm going to say and like trying to be entertaining. So we'll save that for this voiceover. Hey. So yeah, he's got a little staff. That's his magical staff. I don't know if he casts spell with it like a wand or if he just uses it to kind of like awkwardly hobble around. But it's there. It's cute. It's stylish. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this toad dude. Yeah, so the next one was Amy's Amazing. They suggested a guinea pig, which I love. I'm a huge guinea pig fan. I don't have a guinea pig currently, but I had two actually when I was younger. So they have a fond place in my heart, and I love their little weet weeks. So yeah, I had to draw this one in particular. I thought it was a really cute expression and like he's a little munching. I love their little noses and their little mouths. So Yeah, I was very excited to draw this. And they're just like mounds of fur, especially the Peruvian guinea pigs. So I think that's the one that I'm drawing now. Um, they're just like mops, just like wigs. So I had a good time just going into this one because they're such a basic form because of all the hair that I could just kind of go around with the silhouette and not worry so much about, defining the head and the torso and the hips and all of that. So yeah, sometimes I'll do that. I'll just kind of go in with the silhouette and then kind of cut into that shape. So yep, doing that with this one, kind of finding all the fun flows in the fur. That's one of my favorite things about drawing really hairy animals. It's just like the fur like has such a cool kind of rhythm to it. And yeah, I gave him he's eating a cucumber in the photo, but I wanted to give him like more of a cucumber. I wanted to give him an extra big cucumber because I love him. So he's got a big slice, is living his best life or her best life. And then, yeah, I go in with the dark ultramarine at this point. So you'll see me, I take the reference photo away at this point because I'm really no longer looking at it. I usually just use a reference to kind of establish the basic proportions and stuff like that. And then I like to kind of work off of my sketch so it's a little bit more imaginative based. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, relying heavily on a reference photo. But I don't particularly like super realistic drawings or paintings for that matter. So I'm a little bit more flexible. I kind of pick and choose the features that I like and then exaggerate those and then kind of get rid of the ones that I'm not particularly interested in or that I find confusing. So, yeah, he's got like this cute little hairdo. It almost reminds me of Steve Harrington's hair from Stranger Things. So I just think of this guinea pig as Steve. Munching away on that cucumber. Yeah. Oh, I do a lot of hatching too. People have asked me like how I go about figuring out how to hatch or like what my technique is. And honestly, I kind of struggle because I don't really know. It's very intuitive to me, and I actually got not in trouble, but when I went to art classes and stuff like that, professors and teachers would always kind of say, "Oh, like you're so line dominant. Why don't you focus more on value?" So yeah, I don't know. I just have always been more comfortable with lines, and that just feels natural to me rather than, kind of shading and smoothing everything out. But not that I don't do that. Sometimes I do, but oh yeah, okay, so we're on to the dragon, the last one. So yeah, this one I just wanted to do from my imagination. So it kind of gives you kind of a good idea of how I work generally. So you've got like, if I'm using a reference photo, I'll look at that primarily and then kind of make whatever tweaks that I want to it and not kind of solely rely on it. And then this one will show you kind of how I work just from my imagination. So I'm even more loose this time, just kind of figuring out where I want everything to go. I'm pretty comfortable drawing dragons just because like a dragon can be literally whatever I want it to be. And for me, that usually means like some kind of like animal dragon hybrid. So this one looks maybe like a bunny. I don't know. I don't know what it is, guys. It's a dragon, whatever that means. So yeah, it's just chilling, sitting down, looking over its shoulder at us, all cute. Little tiny baby wings. Yeah, dragons honestly are super fun to me because of their long necks. Not that all dragons need to have long necks. I don't discriminate. But yeah, they just create a really cool shape, and I'm a big fan of shapes when I'm drawing, and like like those shapes and those rhythms are really what I look for when I choose the subject and stuff. So yeah, and it's fun too because I get to kind of design it as I go. So I give her some spikes, give her like a long tail and a little tail spade. Actually, the pose of this one reminds me of the Juraluki dragon dog that I did not so long ago. It's kind of a similar pose, but kind of my go-to, honestly, just because it, again, has that shape where it's like the neck's curving and the back's arched and the tail swoops around, and it's very dynamic without actually having to draw it in motion, which I'm not a huge fan of. I like static and dynamic at the same time. Giving her some little paws, some little claws. She's fierce. And yeah, and then I'm going back in with the dark colored pencil and kind of, you know, honing it in, tightening it up, giving her some expression, some personality. Anyway, yeah, I don't really have a lot to say at this point. I'm just kind of, again, kind of sketching out the forms. Um, but yeah, I can actually talk about my kind of venture into YouTube because that's new. I just kind of recently decided to pick it up again. I tried, I think it was 2 years ago, I tried to take it seriously and I bought this Filmora Wondershare like editing software that I'm using now. And I made like 3 different videos, I think. But honestly, the computer that I was using to edit on was like a 10-year-old HP Pavilion that I'm still using to this day. And it just does not work with editing at all. It honestly, it was so slow. I couldn't even watch the playback video as I was editing. I just kind of had to export and hope for the best. Which, it takes like 25 years to export a video, so I can't just do that. So I gave up for like 2 years, and then last year I bought this laptop, and then it just kind of dawned on me that hey, maybe I should start a YouTube. Um, I was considering making a Patreon, and then on that I would have been providing like a lot of video content too. But I decided that I wanted to kind of dip my toes into the whole recording thing a little bit more before I venture into something like Patreon, which I don't know if and when I'm going to be pursuing that, but um, yeah, so I'm here. I'm enjoying it. I still have a lot to learn, obviously, as far as editing goes, but I am enjoying it. I'm getting slightly more comfortable with it day by day, so that's cool. Obviously, everything on social media is kind of like leaning more towards video content now, which I and many others were definitely a little bit salty about at first, but um, honestly, I really do like the platform of YouTube. Like, I feel like the algorithm is a lot better than Instagram because you can kind of search videos and find them forever versus Instagram where you post something and then it's just kind of gone. Like after the 24 hours, like it's very difficult for other people to find it. So um, and it's a lot more personable too. Like I feel like I was just kind of posting on Instagram and then running away, and you guys never really got a sense of who I was or like what I was trying to say. And which people obviously can make posts and infuse their personalities a little bit more, but I wasn't doing that. I guess I didn't really know how to do that as well on like a photo sharing platform because I don't know. I don't take a lot of photos of myself. I'm not like very like I don't know. I don't like it, okay. But this is a little bit different. This is like I'm talking to a friend or something like that. So feels a little bit more casual, a little bit more chill, but yeah. So if you like it, this kind of content, stay tuned, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And I think we're wrapping this up. So yeah, thanks so much for stopping by, having a look, taking a listen. And hopefully I'll catch you next week.